Hello, today I will be doing a book analysis or video presentation on the children's book or graphic novel Cucumber Quest, The Doughnut Kingdom by Gigi. So as a quick summary of the plot or like the progression of the book, so Cucumber Quest, this is actually the first book of the series, which I didn't really know. Like, I thought this was just going to be one complete book, like a story, but surprise, it ends on a cliffhanger. But let me continue. So I would say that the book is it's like a humorous fantasy adventure story, and it follows Cucumber, our protagonist, who's a student, and he dreams of going to magic school. He was always studying and working on his skills, and he has this wonky wand that ends up breaking in half in the story, like even before the action even starts, or mid-action when he's in a fight. But yes, those plans change when he receives a letter from his father that he has to become the hero who saves their desert world. He has to, like, he doesn't have a choice. Like, it is his destiny, it is his fate. Even his, I'm not going to spoil it yet, but so yes, he has to become the hero to save their desert world from their evil queen, Queen Cordelia, who plans to revive the ancient nightmare, the Nightmare Knight. And alongside him is his younger sister, Almond. She's the complete opposite of Cucumber. Cucumber is more like timid, whereas when it comes to action and like fighting, but then what's her name? Sorry, Almond is very brave and energetic, and she loves this type of stuff. In the beginning of the book, when they discuss Cucumber becoming the hero, having to become the hero, and they're reading the letter from their father, I mean, Almond says multiple times that, oh, she should just do it because Cucumber isn't, like that. See, besides, Cuckoo isn't really world-saving material anyway. It's right here. But yes, throughout the rest of the book, Almond and Cucumber kind of go on a journey to retrieve a legendary dream sword that was stolen from the Dream Oracle, and basically stop darkness, stop evil from corrupting their world. There's like a mix of action and comedy, and I would say, like, I picked this up a lot. Like, there's a lot of like self-awareness going on in the book, where it kind of like pokes fun at the traditional heroic fantasy trope. As for the description of the visuals, it is a graphic novel, so the story relies a lot on the images. There's not much, like with the traditional just word book, textbook, you would rely on a lot from the text and the details to understand the expressions, understand their emotions. But with a graphic novel, you read and you analyze the pictures to understand the emotions and the feelings and the situation. So yes, with the illustrator Gigi, so their art style is it's soft. To me, it's like a soft texture. There's like soft strokes in the illustrations. It is very bright color, kind of. I would say some illustrations are kind of whimsical, like the Dream Oracle. She's very beautiful. I can feel that from the illustrations. I feel like there's a lot of beauty in it. I would say that it also kind of connects with the the kingdom. You know, it's the Doughnut Kingdom. So I feel like the illustrations kind of match this sweet, sugary kingdom, the world. The characters or the individuals are drawn a very cute cartoon style, and they do have really expressive features. Going back to the Dream Oracle, there are so many expressive features. Like she's a bit angry or confused, and then this one is just like these are completely two different facial expressions, but it works and it's amazing. You know, it ties back to the humor in the story. So, you know, each page is very vibrant and detailed. A lot of visual jokes, you know, tying back to facial expressions. This one is a very good example. Very good example that's tying back to humor and emotion. I think it, you know, it's very appealing for young readers, even, and it ties back to kind of like coming of age stories. It appeals to those type of audiences. And from the front cover of the story, we have Cucumber and Almond in their heroic poses. They're surrounded by a lot of design, sparkles and stars, and then we see a mystery character, but I know who it is. Other readers may not know who it is. I would say for genres of the book falls into multiple genres. For one, it is a fictional book, so it's made up. Tying back to that is fantasy. The story has like magical creatures, kingdoms, and like a heroic quest. Tying back with fantasy, adventure. The main characters go on an epic journey to save their world, to save their kingdom, to save their family and friends. And as well, as I've mentioned many times in this video so far, that it is humorous. It ties in with humor. It falls under the genre of humor and satire. On satire, it really is. You can pick up on like the parody or like the sarcasm that on the dialogue in the story. The book makes fun of, or like, yeah, the book kind of makes fun of like the traditional fairy tale, traditional fantasy tropes about a hero's quest and all that, and traditional like gender norm. One memorable quote from the book that I really like is knock yourself out. It's a very short one-liner, and without context, it doesn't really make sense as to why it's a memorable line, but I would love to explain it. So this is when Almond just hands over the last disaster stone to Cordelia's witch. To me, I think it adds an ironic twist to the story and to like the progression of the plot, and it plays along and ties back with humor that with humor. I think readers wouldn't generally expect this coming from Almond, who, if you read into the book and her character so far, you would say that she loves adventure, she loves combat, right? But if you really think about it, it really does. And if you really do pay attention to Almond's character, it's something that she would do. She would just hand something over because she thrives on adventure and thrill. And so giving the what is this called? Giving the stone, the last disaster stone, to the witch actually adds on to more of the adventure for Almond. So I think that ties in really well. It really does, with character analysis and even like the story analysis. I'm going to talk about the strengths and weaknesses of this story now, very quickly some of the strengths. It has amazing, engaging, heavy on the word engaging visuals. These visuals are very like fast-paced movement. There are different facial expressions in each corner of the page, in each panel of the page. Yes, and different actions going on. Another strength would be the humor and the tone of the story. So the humor appeals to both children and adults. There are a lot of like, it's good at balancing some silly hidden jokes and like witty jokes that, you know, readers will have to pay attention to. I think that's really nice. I think it's really funny. There's a positive theme of like teamwork and bravery, having self-confidence and believing in yourself, and kind of along with the idea that anyone can be a hero, you know, because in the book it talks about how Almond, which is Cucumber's little sister, she's not hero-like because she's a little sister, but she actually does a lot of heroic, she has a lot of heroic traits. Another strength would be the diversity of characters. We have bears, we have donut ladies, we have rabbits, we have witches, rabbits, and a dream oracle, which I'm not sure what she's supposed to symbolize, but it's very diverse. Every character has a unique personality and motivation, and it'll allow and help readers to understand different perspectives. Continuing on with some weaknesses, although humor was a strength, humor is also a weakness because some of these jokes about or like self-awareness jokes or poking fun about the fantasy trope or story might go over some readers' heads, especially if they're young readers. Another weakness would be the pace of the story. To me, I found that the story kind of moved on a bit too quickly because all of a sudden Cucumber was already traveling to find his dad, and I felt like that was going on too quickly. I was really trying to understand what was happening in the beginning of the story with the letter and the dream oracle, and that Cucumber was supposed to go to magic school, but he's already going on to find his dad, who was in jail or a little prison cell. So yeah, the pacing of the story could make it a little confusing for students who are in developing or trying to develop comprehension skills, especially if they're early readers. Another weakness, I would say, not so much on the reading level, but some vocabulary and humor might be inappropriate for some readers, but appropriate for upper elementary and middle school students. That's pretty much it. I will now be discussing the age and grade level appropriateness. So with the language in the book, the dialogue, the jokes, and the visuals and the theme of like the several themes that show up within the story, I would say that this book, Cucumber Quest, is best suited for like third grade to like middle school, so third grade to eighth grade. So like maybe like, well, I think more suited for third to sixth grade, but of course it's also suited for middle school, like seventh to eighth grade. So about the ages of 8 to 12 or 13. The comedic style of the panels and the expressive artwork help struggling readers or reluctant readers to follow the story and understand the depth of the story and understand what else is happening in the story. It's great for visual learners and those who need those visual support. The humor and the parody elements appeal to students who enjoy the fantasy stories or adventure stories series, like the Cartoon Network show Adventure Time. I think that show is already so popular, so stories like this tie in that common interest. And then I would also say, because of the age group and the grade level, moral lessons like teamwork and creativity, you know, believing in yourself, having confidence in yourself, self-confidence. The theme that anyone can be a hero is appropriate for, like, it ties in with that coming of age theme. And you know, it's good for like mid-elementary or late elementary to, of course, middle school. And now for my classroom use and activity. I would use this book to help students kind of reflect on their own acts of kindness, acts of encouragement, or like courage, and think about the multiple themes that happen in this, that are occurring in this story. One of them being that anyone can be a hero. So they will be writing and sharing about their acts of kindness, courage, problem-solving skills, or anytime they had they worked together, like with teamwork and bravery, or cared for others. Any of those acts that happen in their own lives, and this would encourage empathy, self-expression, and it helps with writing and reflection skills through a personal experience and personal narratives. It reinforces the book's themes of courage and self-belief, self-confidence, becoming a hero, not defeating, but like overcoming traditional gender norms when it comes to a heroic quest or hero story. And it builds on the empathy within students, within growing minds in young students, or young children, or young students in general. And I would say, you know, it ties in well with the 3rd to 6th grade, because that is when students do start learning about becoming or having empathy and understanding one another and being kind and working together. It can be adapted for younger students, but I would say that would be like, it's more focused heavily on oral speaking and oral work and drawing, rather than any writing or full-on discussions. As for, I think another great extension to this classroom activity would be like having a hero of the week board, so students can just like nominate or recognize other classmates who have been kind or brave or just amazing students.